the words that when I think about Christopher and Colleen, what are the words that I associate with them? Kindness, genuine, warm, spirited, strong. It is my honour to officiate the wedding of Colleen Sullivan and Christopher Grant, and a real pleasure. Many of you have made a huge effort, a terrific effort in fact, to be here today from the East Coast, for example. The East Coast? From the UK. There are two lovely ladies I've got to know from Norway in my cabin. And it is, of course, the tradition that those travelling the farthest to a wedding will settle the bar bill. So we'll discuss, I have a ledger and we'll discuss the flight times a little later. My name is Will Platt-Higgins. I've had the great pleasure of working with Colleen and Christopher for many years at Facebook. And so, what can I say? Really, the main thing I have to say is that these are two deeply good people. They also happen to be top-class professionals, but we're not going to talk about that today. That's another meeting for another time. And what are the words that when I think about Christopher and Colleen, what are the words that I associate with them? Kindness, genuine, warm, spirited, strong. And in one case in particular, the words take charge come to mind. It really makes me, and I know all of you, very happy to be with you here today, particularly in such a spectacular setting. And I have the best job this afternoon, which is to tell Christopher and Colleen's story. Colleen and Christopher have been friends for 8 years, and actually today is their 8th anniversary of being friends on Facebook. Now, as you know, you're not really friends in real life, ladies and gentlemen, until you're friends on Facebook. And Facebook happens to be the thing that brought these two together. Christopher was working at an advertising agency in Seattle, and he got a call from Colleen asking him whether he would be interested in a job. And a few weeks later, he accepted that job and they started work together as business partners, I hasten to add, in California. A few years later, Colleen, ever one in my experience, ladies and gentlemen, to grab life with both hands, moved to London. And a year after that, Christopher got another call asking him to move to London to work with Colleen again. There was a discrete job that needed to be done, and Chris, as ever, was the best person for the job. Even though the pair sat next to each other at work, for all of those years, there was no romance. None, ladies and gentlemen. Many months later, Colleen announced that she was going to leave London, head back to her family here on the West Coast, and in fact, she was only going to be around for a few more months. Well, there's nothing, I think you'll agree with me, there's nothing quite like scarcity to focus the human mind on what it wants. Or as Joni Mitchell might say, you don't know what you've got till it's gone, or it's about to go. And indeed, after only a couple of months of long-distance dating, Colleen decided to move back to London and to live with Christopher. And by the end of the year, the two were engaged. As Christopher proposed in front of the Louvre in Paris on New Year's Eve, completely taking Colleen by surprise. And in October of 2017, Mr. Jack Christopher Sullivan Grant was born, and the love between this pair blossomed into something even more special. When they got engaged in Paris, Christopher wrote these words on a card for Colleen. I'm going to read this. Colleen, over the 8 years that we have known each other, none was better than this one. We found love in each other. We planned a future together as a family to bring happiness and fulfillment. We encountered challenges and we learned that we're willing to overcome them together. I have never felt more loved or appreciated. Life isn't the same without you. You inspire me to be the best man and partner that I can be. I promise to love you, to respect you, and to appreciate you for the rest of my life. I know that I have told you so many times how lucky I feel to have received your love, and the only thing I can think of that would make me feel any luckier is to be your husband.
We promise to stick by each other through the tough times, in sickness and in health. During the moments that test our commitment and love, we will stand by each other always.
We promise to always make each other a priority. No matter what comes our way as parents or in our future careers, we will make our relationship the foundation on which everything else is built.
We promise to never let the other person forget how much we love them. We will regularly show gratitude and appreciation for all that the other person brings into our life, so as not to let the other person feel taken for granted.
We promise not to lose our individual identities. Though we are now an us, we will not lose track of our individual hopes, dreams, hobbies, and other things that bring happiness to our lives. We will strive to not only grow as part of this couple, but as individuals alongside each other.
We promise to nurture the chemistry between us. People cannot have a fire and walk out of the room thinking that it will burn forever. You have to add logs to stoke the fire. More than consistently reminding each other of our love, we will take action to keep the fire alive.
We promise to do our best for our children. As we go through the experience of being parents, we promise to always be present for our children, live by the examples that we want them to follow, and cultivate a family culture that will develop our children into kind citizens of the world.
We promise to accept and love each other fully. We all have flaws and insecurities and things that we may want to change about ourselves. We promise to accept each other for all of our traits and always look for the best in each other.
We promise not to let ourselves go. We understand we only get one body in this life. We promise to eat right, live a healthy lifestyle, and not let our physical appearance go just because we're married.
We promise that we are in this until the end. We are proud to be partners, and we promise to support, push, inspire, and love each other as long as we are alive. We don't know what the future will bring, but we are committed to facing it together. We also promise to be faithful to each other in heart and in mind for our lives. We have rings that we're going to share, and we just wanted to share a little bit about what these rings mean to us. For us, These rings serve as a reminder of these vows, a reminder of this day, but more a reminder of what we want to build together. So that every time we look down at these rings, we are reminded of this special moment and the things that we've committed.
So for now, it gives me tremendous, tremendous pleasure to present to you Colleen and Christopher Sullivan Grant.
As a father, you want your children to be healthy and happy. In Christopher and Colleen, I see two people who are very, very happy together. But something I know about my son, and maybe I don't express it with him as much, is Christopher has the biggest heart of anybody you'll ever meet. His heart is huge. And because his heart is so huge, the only way he's going to have the deep happiness that you want for your children is for him to find a loving partner in Colleen. And with that, I know that he's going to be happy. And you just can't help, I've never seen him happier. So he needs to express himself. He needs somebody to be there for him. And I know that this is a match, it's a miracle that's been made. But my toast is to Chris and Colleen and their happiness.
Colleen was always our free spirit. She was the one that couldn't wait to get up and go and do things, and she had so much enthusiasm for life and for people around her, and she just seemed to exude this excitement about her, and she always was that way.
When Colleen came home, she was ready to settle in Clarkston, build a house, get a dog. And so we were so excited because she was coming home. She was done traveling. She was going to be like our other children. Thank you. And then she started what she had told us about Christopher, and she started talking to him every day for hours and hours. And we're like, who is he? What is this hold he has on her? And finally, she would talk about him. Finally, one day I said, what are you doing here? What are you doing in Clarkston? Your life is with Christopher. And she says, you're right. I'm out of here. So, thank you for coming back because it is just fullness for a parent to have your children to be so close to you. Not always physically or geographically, but emotionally. So, thank you.
Hard to go last with all these incredible toasts that are out here. Wow. Well, it was about 30 years ago, I guess, when I last gave my father of the bride toast speech, and I didn't think I was ever going to get to do it again. Finally, I did. So thank you, Colleen. We are so happy that she found someone in Christopher that she could share her life with. Years ago, I guess for us, maybe in another lifetime, we used to We used to give engaged encounter weekends. I don't know if any of you ever heard of that. Yeah, there's a few back there. It's part of a marriage prep program, and we always encourage the couples as they were thinking about getting married to try to remember to always be more life-giving, to try to live your life more for your spouse as much as for yourself. Not to sacrifice the things that you like and you do, but the things you do add something to your relationship and the relationship with you and your children. So I think I see in these two that is going to be a primary focus of their life. And for that, we are grateful, and I know you two will have a wonderful, imaginative, and great life together. So to Chris and Colleen, to C&C, cheers.